So this is the final of the Cradle. Cradle is a Blood Bowl league that is held by me and my friends. Today we're going to be watching the Fear Boners versus the Master Bay Thors. That is a Norse team versus a Underworld team. The Underworld team is not necessarily a good team, but for some reason Sam made it through. So we're just going to have to watch and see how this goes. So we're going to be watching from the perspective of Sam. And we're going to see, hopefully, him pretty much dying because he's been talking nothing but crap all day. So he has a little bit of inducements, but not enough to actually make anything happen. So we're just going to skip that screen. As you can see, TVs are actually pretty even, which is technically worse for Sam. And so the game starts. As you can see, Underworld has 4 rerolls versus the Norse's 2, which is not really that big of a deal. Norse is a very aggressive team. Underworld is a more, I guess, forced to be strategic because they do not have any pure strengths like some of the stronger teams do. Something else that's really to point out over here, just because I mean the 2 cheerleaders helps a bit, but I don't really feel as though the Norse are going to get bashed out enough where it, or actually no, that's for results. Alright, so Sam's chosen heads, and he's going to choose to kick, which is weird because Sam receives all day. So right now, Sam is going to reorganize his line before he kicks the ball out. So if you've never played Underworld, Underworld is a team that's mixed of goblins and Skaven with a troll. This is kind of a very different thing because the goblins and Skaven do not like each other. So they have something called animosity, which kind of causes a problem when they are mixed with right next to each other. As everyone is now mentioning, the football looks like a legendary from Diablo 3. And of course, no one is able to pick up the legendary because they are just too busy trying to fight for the ball. Which is, I guess, legendary. So, you know, here we go. As always, Sam has taken half a year to put his man on the field. Hey Sam, can you hit G so the tackle zones show? Alright, cool, thank you. So as you can see, the tackle zones are now visible. And as always, hit and escape so you don't have any of the the close-up camera views. So right now David is setting up his team to receive the ball. So it's actually going to be kind of cool because there's troll versus troll in the mid. As you guys have probably learned by now, I am not a fan of big guys, but there are some times when they are actually pretty useful. Trolls are pretty solid, but I am still not just a fan of them.
What actually happened there that meant to play it too? Didn't.
Maybe as a guard.
I don't know. Got my hand mixed up. So that is the second time you've done something completely wrong.
Alright, so Sam is not going to kick the ball. Kicks the ball to the middle of the field, and as you can see, it's being kicked by a little goblin. The Master Bay Thors have won the kickoff, and thus, oh, that's sadness. So the Master Bay Thors are going to have an extra reroll, but because the ball was kicked out, it's going to be delivered to any person on his team. Oh, actually, it didn't go out. It went into the end zone. Okay, well, that's different. That would have been pretty bad if it got knocked out because Norse aren't really a good pickup team. Oh, but he has this guy with sure hands, which is going to be pretty useful. It lets him to re-roll a failed roll on picking up the ball. And just FYI, yes, all of the Norse's team is named Thor. So one of the beautiful things about a Norse team is that they have these giant, I forget what they're called. They're like wear somethings, but they're pretty much heavy blitzers with frenzy, which means they get to attack twice. Yeah, there we go, Norse werewolves. So if you get a kind of a crappy roll on the first time and you only have pushes and whatnot, you can still end up having a second roll after you push them to possibly get a tackle. So right now, Dave is trying to figure out what person he wants to tackle or wants to blitz.
Wizards have not always been able to cast spells safely from behind the sidelines. Were you playing at the time in an Albion League, a second division that prohibited spellcasting?
So right now he's chosen to blitz, and it looks pretty good because there's no dodge. He will get knocked down, and he gets knocked down. He only has. It's only a little bit dazed. Just I think he needed a little bit of a bigger hit, but it didn't happen. One of the good things about a Norse team is that the fact that majority of them have block as a starting stat, which is a pretty good way to. It's a good building block to set up a very, very powerful endgame team. In our original league, Norse was probably one of the strongest teams we had because it was played by Sky. And Sky is not only a good player, but he has a really good team to support it. He had like a 1700 Norse team. So I would say it is fairly lucky that Sam is not getting anyone knocked down too hard on his turn. Most of his team so far is going to get back up, which is very good because a team like Norse, once they start getting some momentum, it gets pretty dangerous. Skaven and goblins don't really have a lot of armor or anything like that, so if they get damaged, it's going to be very long term. Injuries are going to suck really bad for that team. Alright, so his troll ended up having a wild animal, which means it's not going to do anything. So now on Sam's turn.
Why do you think these Skaven agreed to join the Underworld goblins to play Blood Bowl?
So Sam is opting to get his guy back up, so possibly giving him more options. So he has a chance to have a double dice roll on that tackle. Sam is going through all of his options to see where he has the best chance of hitting. So right now, you can see there is a lot of options for Sam. He has a lot of one dice rolls, which generally doesn't happen because Skaven are not a strong team. So this is two. Obviously, decides to reroll. So goes for the push. Decides to not follow, which is a pretty good idea. I believe that is the one who had strip ball. So one of the interesting thing about Underworld is that unlike normal Skaven or Goblin teams, you get access to mutations. Mutations are very special power-ups that will change the way that some certain characters play. So like, I believe Two Heads allows you to have a better dodge roll. Prehensive Tail gives you a chance to trip somebody as they pass you by. Alright, that's pretty good. Question is, where does he want to have the guy knocked down? Oh, that's a pretty good hard hit. It's very good. Norse is a very versatile team, so their movement is kind of important. Them being down can be dangerous. So as you can see, Sam's trying to penetrate his line so he can get to the guys with the ball who are in the back. So Sam is opting to stay away from them. This is actually a pretty good strategy because it means that David's going to have to either use his blitzes to take him down or do anything else. That is actually a very good roll. So it's very fortunate he's going to knock down his troll. As you see, there's an aura around the troll. It decreases the ability to catch the ball or intercept. Excuse me. For anyone who's in that aura, because he just stinks. He's a smelly troll. Granted, you know, they're both smelly trolls, but this one, he really hasn't showered. He has a lot of fur. I wonder if I actually can turn the sound on. Not sure if I want to. The sound will echo, I think. I need to get sound canceling equipment for the microphone, and then that'll improve the way we'll do this next time. I think. So right now we're on David's turn, and he's trying to figure out what he's going to do with the ball. He needs to somewhat secure the ball, so he's sending one of his guys out to make sure that none of the Skaven on Sam's team are able to get near the ball and have influence. Because influence is bad. Very bad.
You wouldn't necessarily want something. Well, yeah. That's why civilization is kind of interesting to watch the the whole country or just like I mean people Jay. All right. Except for well, it's not even a reference. It's I think Civ 4 and Civ 5. It might even be 3 as well. Once you reach the conclusion of the game, it shows you the world map and it gives you which includes trying to build a wonderful desert. What's interesting is the trees they start with one city.
So interesting decisions being made, whether or not you want to bring the troll up, or do you want to use the troll for tackling. Again, like this is a situation where you have to really think about how you want to use your big guys, because if he was to have a role like wild animal, then you would have problems. You don't want to have wild animal burn your blitz. So that's pretty big. Oh, he's gonna go for it. Troll gets up. Troll's going for it. So because he doesn't have dodge, those stumbles are still gonna be effective. It's gonna knock him down. And the ball carrier walks up because it's not a thing. Ooh. You know, he was pretty lucky that the Underworld didn't wreck him. I think next time I will also move the logo in the middle so you guys can see the rolls. But for the time being, this works out a lot, or works out well, I think.
We don't see much of the heroes of war these days.
I don't know.
For any spectators who aren't aware, the heroes of lore hope to show the world a better
So as you
way
can see,
by
he's trying